Hello and welcome to live international football. A crucial game for the Northern Ireland women's team. They face a two-legged encounter against Montenegro over the next handful of days to solidify their place in the second tier of the Nations League. Montenegro hoping to go into Pool B themselves. A big test for Tanya Oxtoby's side. They start with the away game tonight, or this afternoon. Then on Tuesday night, they will welcome Montenegro to Windsor Park. Alongside me in co-commentary for this one, Northern Ireland's record cap holder, Julie Nelson. A tough one to start in this two-legged affair in the UEFA Women's Nations League, the inaugural tournament, and it's been a tough one so far for Northern Ireland. Before this game in the Montenegrin capital, we will hear both of the national anthems.
Sada himna Crne Gore, now national anthem of Montenegro. Thank you.
High fives all round as kickoff approaches. A 1 o'clock kickoff for this game. So much experience in that Northern Ireland lineup, but a tough test, not just this afternoon, but over the next 180 minutes. Let's look at the home side first. Koricic, Kuch and Bulatovic, the names to look out for. Bulatovic and Kuch in particular have been potent throughout the group. Kuch scored in 4 of the 6 group games. There is Maric shaking hands with Tanya Oxtoby, his opposite number. And in a moment we will hopefully get an opportunity to look at the Northern Ireland lineup. Northern Ireland finished 3rd in their group behind Hungary and the Republic of Ireland. Montenegro 2nd behind Azerbaijan in the tier below. The officials from Switzerland, and there are the 2 skippers Two players with a huge amount of experience between them. Marissa Callahan, of course, of Northern Ireland, and the player I mentioned a moment ago, Balatovic of Montenegro. It's a reasonably settled Northern Ireland side. No Rebecca Holloway. The back three of Vance, McFadden and Rafferty. McKenna will provide width on the right-hand side. And Maxwell, fresh from her move to Blackburn Rovers, starts up front. Cara Hamilton and Nadine Caldwell, two experienced figures on the bench. Julie, we'll talk about the team in a moment, but first of all, how tough a test is this when you look at it on paper and in particular the Montenegro home record?
Yeah, I think from what you've said there, Thomas, and from what I've seen, Montenegro seem to be a very strong side. As you say, very good record in 2023, and especially within the Nations League as well, and seem to be very strong at home, conceding not too many goals. So I think it will be a challenge for our girls. They may be ranked 88th in the world, I think, at the moment, but I don't think that probably reflects the quality that the side have.
Yes, they were top scorers in the group and conceded just 4 during that time. Unfortunate to lose twice to Azerbaijan, particularly the 1-0 defeat at home against the group leaders who were automatically promoted into Tier 2. Northern Ireland with the 2 victories in their group, both of them coming against the bottom side, Albania. A draw at home against Hungary, and then that heartbreaking 3-2 defeat away. Early challenge by Simone McGill, just inside the Northern Ireland half, results in the first set piece. Sarah McFadden not taking any chances. And in terms of the setup, obviously the graphic tells one story. What are you seeing back here in Belfast, granted, but what are you seeing in terms of how Northern Ireland are lining up for this game?
Yeah, the graphic showed a 3-5-2, but from what it looks like and what I would have expected with those players, it's looking more like a 4-3-3 at the moment, especially out of possession anyway. We obviously haven't seen a lot of Northern Ireland in possession as yet.
You can see Cooch there, number 11, country's top scorer, being tracked by Julie Andrews initially there, but Cooch scored for fun in the group. Here's an early test for the goalkeeper, and it was Cooch at the back post, and it's a massive let-off in the opening 90 seconds. I mean, she is very much the danger player, and when you look at her stats, Judy, you can't give her time and space like that.
No, it looks like Montenegro definitely have a bit of a height advantage there, and there's a bit of a muddle in the middle, and players get entangled with each other, and that's a free header at the back post. And yeah, I'm surprised she hasn't scored or at least hit the target off that. And it's an area that Northern Ireland will definitely need to do better with.
A massive let off, and another Montenegrin attack right now, cut out by Rafferty. McKenna. The visitors just need to settle a little bit after that rocky start. The player in possession was one that you had earmarked as another potential threat, Julie. Karlicic. Demi Vance. Back with McCarran. As usual, she'll just make things tick in and around the centre circle. And it's a poor touch from McKenna, very unlike her. More defending to do. Cooch had that glorious opportunity a few seconds ago. Waits for support. And even in the opening 3 minutes, you can see she's got quality.
Yeah, that's a good run from her, but I'm surprised with the lack of numbers that Montenegro have pushed forward there in support, because that's a good delivery into the box, but there's nobody there on the other side of that.
Cooch not just incredibly consistent in front of goal, also incredibly reliable. Played 56 consecutive games for Montenegro between the team's formation and 2021. They played the first game in 2012, 6 years after the country gained independence, and Cooch has been a mainstay since then. It's better from the visitors. maybe at the back there isn't quite the same level of experience, certainly in terms of caps from Montenegro's point of view. But when you look at some of the leagues that players are playing in, there's some of the squad are in France, for example, other players in Sweden, a few domestically, Hungary, Turkey. They're plucked from all over the European continent. And that's a good chance for Northern Ireland as well. It was a decent cutback. Nobody tracked Lauren Wade, and she was unable to keep the effort down. So that will buoy the visitors slightly after that golden opportunity was presented to Cooch.
Yeah, just unfortunately the way the ball bounced there, and it's on Lauren Wade's weaker side. She wasn't able to get a good connection on it, but good build-up play and combination down the side from Rebecca McKenna and Chloe McCarran.
Judy, I'm sure you would have loved to have been involved in a competition like the Nations League down through the years. When you look at the games coming thick and fast, almost every single international window provides an opportunity. How can this competition overall grow the women's game and get that competitive edge, not just for the bigger sides, but also the developing ones?
Yeah, I think the whole purpose behind it, as you say, was firstly to get the developing nations especially more games, because there's many an international window throughout my career. We didn't have a game, and other teams are playing, and you can train and as much as you want, but you need to be playing games and competitive games at that. So it's introduced competitive games, and as well. What we saw in the World Cup qualifiers, massive score lines, some 15-0s, 20-0s, and those types of scores, which isn't good for anybody in the women's game, whether it's the bigger nations or the developing nations. So hopefully that's what we've seen so far anyway in the Nations League. There hasn't been any of those massive score lines, and it will help women's football develop across Europe more evenly.
So the next question is, how important is it for Northern Ireland to stay in that second tier, because it does have implications in regard to the future qualifying tournaments for both the World Cup and for the European Championships, and obviously the higher the league that you're in, the higher the seeding, if you like, in the group. It's a little bit confusing, and it's very different to the way the men's Nations League is structured, but essentially if you're in the first tier, you're less likely to play against stronger sides.
Yes, exactly, and Northern Ireland, we haven't been outside of the top 32 in Europe, I think, since when we initially entered the Euros back in 2007, 2008. So yeah, I don't think we can afford to drop out of the B League in the Nations League, because that would be outside of the top 32 in Europe. And then, as you say, would make it extremely difficult to qualify for the Euros in 2025.
Well, here's a chance from a set piece. Lauren Wade had that opportunity a little bit earlier. You'd be looking at the likes of Sarah McFadden in a position like this. Split in towards a near post, not the best delivery, and it's headed away. So Chloe McCarran will get another chance from the corner kick. This time it goes short to Demi Vance. Pulled back to Maxwell. I think it's the first time she's been in possession. McFadden has stayed up, and it was a decent connection. It was, not sure if it was McFadden or it may well have been Marissa Callahan also in that area of the pitch. Yeah, it was McFadden, but easily gathered by the goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's a similar corner to the corners that Northern Ireland had tried against Albania back in the Nations League, so it's obviously something that's
a high foot, and Rafferty's caught. Doesn't look like there's going to be any further action. Sorry for talking over you. Listen, you can't get a short one there from you because you left-footed. You have to come further back, So no further action from the referee, who blew a whistle very quickly. Here's another look back at the incident itself. Northern Ireland attack down that right-hand side. Ball just ushered out of play. What have you made about how Northern Ireland have settled a little bit after that rocky start and that massive chance for Cooch?
Yeah, I think both teams are still trying to figure each other out, but Northern Ireland are starting to string a few passes together and looking more confident as the game develops.
You mentioned that Montenegro are 88th in the world. Are Northern Ireland 46? I think in the late 40s right now, 46th now in the latest rankings, up one place. But is there still a gap between these two sides in terms of quality, or is that gap minimal when you look at some of the players that Montenegro have?
Yeah, I think it's more minimal than what the numbers suggest. Down through the years, we've been that team that have been in the 80s, and then we spent a long period in the 60s in the world rankings. But I think if you ask most teams in Europe, they would have known that playing against Northern Ireland was never going to be an easy feat, regardless of which team it was. So yeah, as much as the numbers may suggest that the gap is quite big, I would imagine it's probably closer than what that suggests.
I mentioned how the men's and women's Nations Leagues differ. There's almost a school of thought that if you're struggling in your particular pool in the men's Nations League, it's actually beneficial to go down a tier, because it provides opportunities in regards to potential opportunities in regards to the future playoffs for major tournaments, but not the case in the women's game. It's very much linked with qualification, not just for the World Cup and also for the European Championships, but also crucially for the Olympics, as we've found out over the last couple of months. Wade, nice dip of the shoulder, tries to pull it back, it's squirming around. Marissa Callahan's in there too, and it's fired goalwards by Maxwell. It wasn't the most convincing piece of goalkeeping from Kristovic. Good play from Lauren Wade. There's the cutback, and you can see 3 or 4 players lining up. It almost took Andrews by surprise, and well, she managed to smother the effort from Maxwell, but that will also buoy Northern Ireland.
Yeah, Montenegro seem to be struggling to pick up, especially the midfield runners. That's a couple of times that we've had players free in the box, so I'm sure that's something they'll identify, but hopefully something that Northern Ireland will be able to capitalise on.
And who in particular would you want to see making those types of runs?
I think both Jolie and Marissa are both really strong at the timing and of the runs and the type of runs that they make. So I think they'll be a threat, coming from the edge of the box, and probably the opposite wide player, depending on what side the ball's on as well.
And does the 3 at the back give that little bit of freedom for those 2 players to maybe take the risk that they mightn't have been able to if it had been a straight back 4?
Yeah, I think the wide player on the opposite side will be pushed slightly higher up the pitch whenever we're in possession. I'm sure that's been set up to kind of identify that Montenegro probably will sit back a bit more defensively against us.
Well, you can hear the shouting from the dugout, just getting Northern Ireland organised here. It's a 5th corner kick of the game, and it's again put into a dangerous area and flicked away by Sarah McFadden. But something you identified very early on, Julie, that there are a lot of tall players in the Montenegro lineup.
Yeah, Sarah McFadden seems to be taking the free role there in the middle as our tallest player, so she's going to have the responsibility to go and win the ball.
Well, it's a poor set piece, and it could well provide an opportunity for Northern Ireland. Rebecca McKenna has plenty of legs. Jolie Andrews made a great run. Inside numbers over here. Wade's outside her. Big chance for Northern Ireland. Really should have been 1-0. Dragged just wide from Lauren Wade, but Northern Ireland had numbers over there. It was the right option from Andrews, although she was pushed away from goal a little bit, Lauren Wade, and you can tell by her reaction how big a chance she knew that was. It was a player backtracking, trying to get in the end of it, but unable to hit the target. And both sides will feel that they should have scored. It did take a touch, though. Here's Demi Vance, super delivery, fisted away by the goalkeeper. Andrews, McFadden. It's cleared. Maybe I was being a little bit harsh on on Lauren Wade, given the fact it was a corner. Did the defender maybe get something on that? I don't think the goalkeeper got a touch.
No, it looked like it took a bit of a
bobble
weird,
almost?
yeah, a bit of a bobble in the middle of the pitch. So maybe that's just taking it slightly further away. Although the defender was recovering there, so even if it had been on target, potentially she may have got a block in.
Yeah, but just the fact that a corner kick was given, I didn't see an obvious touch there, but massive chance and again signs of what you were talking about, Northern Ireland's ability to get players pushing forward, and certainly in terms of the counter attack, they seem to have an advantage over their opponents there. Danielle Maxwell made the switch from Cliftonville locally to Blackburn Rovers recently, buoyed by a really good performance throughout the Nations League. Was kind of thrust into it, wasn't she? Wasn't in the initial squad, and then forced her way into the starting lineup, and was a massive player for the last 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, we did speak about it before, Thomas, how well Danielle had done in the league, and obviously was voted Player of the Year in the off-season there as well for her performances that she had put in the league. But for some reason she wasn't in the September squad and wasn't in the initial October squad, but as you say, got in because of an injury and forced her way into the starting team and hasn't really looked back from that. That seems to have spurred her on with the confidence that she's needed, and you know, for her to secure a move across to England, you know, it's great to see, and hopefully some more of our younger players will do that over the next couple of years.
You've for a long time been an advocate of the local game. Are you really seeing a different calibre of young player coming up now in terms of ambition and potential opportunities for them in England or Scotland?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of the younger players now see it as a viable sort of career for them to go and play professionally across the water, and you know, it's great to see there's a lot of the players, the likes of myself and Ashley Hutton, Sarah McFadden, Rachel Furness, have all done it previously, and you know, it's good to see that those younger players now have that ambition to go and do it, and that they can do it as a profession.
McGill unable to link up with Marissa Callahan, who followed their opponent, and I think the defender fairly happy with that, just to alleviate a little bit of pressure. There was a Montenegro player down in the Northern Ireland half. I think she may well be getting some attention now. It's after that clash. I'm not sure if it was something in the follow-up. It was Desic and Rafferty, and everything looks to be okay. There's McFadden throwing herself at the ball to dispossess Cooch, but Northern Ireland are finding their rhythm. Here's Wade. Andrews available on the cutback. McGill was in the middle. Marissa Callahan also in there. Fired goalwards by Chloe McCarran. She scored just one international goal, but it was a screamer at Seaview. I think it was against Belarus in that qualifying campaign for the Euros, but is certainly capable of hitting them, and I think that is the defender who felt the full force of that. Bozic. A shot of Maric, the head coach, there a moment ago. And again.
Must have heard you speaking about it.
Well, I'd be more concerned about what's happening on the pitch rather than we are not in control of these pictures, so I was worried that with Northern Ireland on the attack we might have missed something, but it looks like we have joined back up at the right time as McKenna tries to squeeze across and doesn't quite manage it. Judy, very evident that the game is now being played in Northern Ireland terms. That after that big chance at the start, they've started to get in the ball and they've started to settle a lot more. How impressive you've been with the way they've done that?
Yeah, I think from the media interviews that have been done this week, you know, there's been a lot of talk about them wanting to control the game and focus on their performance. And as you say, Northern Ireland are now the team that are dominating and seem to have that extra bit of time and space on the ball. And Montenegro are, you know, putting bodies on the line and trying to defend well at the moment. But so Northern Ireland just can't get through. But lots of good build-up play so far.
Marissa Callahan described it as 2 cup finals. Will the big game experience benefit Northern Ireland into a game like this, given everything they've gone through in the last couple of years at the Euros and, you know, the big matches against England, of course, and Republic of Ireland, for example, in the group?
Yeah, it should do, and obviously we came through a playoff to qualify for the Euros, so a lot of the players do have that kind of pressure experience of playing in a playoff. So hopefully they can carry that into today's game and then again on Tuesday.
There's Callahan trying to link up with her former Cliftonville teammate Maxwell. Here is Maxwell. 3 Northern Ireland players in the danger area. Couldn't find any of them, but you just get the feeling that Northern Ireland can produce the right final ball. There are options in there. Simone McGill, for example, lurking, has been given an opportunity recently with Aston Villa, started in their WSL game at the weekend. Sarah McFadden is another player who has been doing very well with her club. Scored an equaliser in a 2-2 draw against the London City Lionesses. And there's a player you know very well, a brief shot of her. The Northern Ireland goalkeeper for the last 3 games, Maddie Harvey-Clifford.
Yeah, it's good to see Maddie getting the shout for the #1 jersey again after 2 good performances in December.
And was that important in the absence of Jackie Burns to have somebody come in and if you like make the #1 spot right now their own and really challenge Jackie for that jersey long term?
Yeah, obviously there's been a lot of competition. There's 3 of the goalkeepers that made their debuts last year, and Shan Turner had played in the first few games, and then for the last, I think it was the first 4 games she played in the Nations League, and then obviously Maddie's played now in the last 3. So there is that competition there, and now we have Lauren Perry back in the mix too, who has international experience. So it's up to one of those goalkeepers to put their hand up and to be the #1 competition for Jackie. Who it's good to see Jackie now back in training again. So hopefully she'll get some good match experience soon too, and be back fully in the squad.
Bulatovich trying to get onto that left foot. And he had one thing in her mind in that situation. If you're not familiar with Lauren Perry's story, you can read about it in the BBC Sport Northern Ireland website. A player who made the breakthrough domestically with Linfield at a very young age and has had all kinds of injuries since then. She's been very unfortunate, was told that her career was over, but has battled back after 2 knee operations. But you can read about her story on the BBC Sport Northern Ireland website. Good to see her back in an international squad.
Yeah, I remember Lauren coming through and making her debut against Norway. I think she was 16 at the time, and as you say, a very difficult time. One ACL injury is bad enough, but to have 2, is very difficult. And great to see her back, confident now and back involved in the Northern Ireland squad.
Well, we've mentioned the WSL and some of the performances in England recently. We've got a treat for you at half-time. We're going to have many of the highlights from the last weekend in the English Women's Super League. It was a record-breaking weekend, of course, at the Emirates Stadium as Arsenal hosted Manchester United. We can look back at some of that over the half-time break. Still plenty of time to go, though, before the interval. Cooch twisting and turning. Northern Ireland had to be careful here to make sure they didn't have a little nibble at the heels of Cooch. Looks a real threat every single time she's been on the ball, even in that wide area in that situation.
Yeah, good footwork there, and as you say, we had to be wary of not to just to clip her heels when she was running through into the box.
There's Bosic. Huge amount of corners already. Again, it's a good delivery like they have been for the majority of the game, but this is where Northern Ireland looked dangerous a little bit earlier on their counter-attack. A foot race between the defender and McCarran. Popovich got there first, but only as far as Jolie Andrews. McGill has continued to run. Pass slightly overhit though. Julie Andrews seems to kind of really forced her way into the starting 11 over the last handful of games, hasn't she? Having been maybe in and out, and Kenny Shields gave her that opportunity towards the end of the Euros and said, look, players like Julie Andrews are the future. Have you noticed a step up on her level of performance and confidence levels when she knows she's going to be involved or in and around the first team?
Yeah, I think that's definitely helped Jolie. Prior to this year, obviously Danielle Maxwell got Player of the Year, but I think Jolie had got Player of the Year in the previous year, and she was always one of the standout players in the league. So now she's obviously a little bit older and has a bit more big game experience now with Northern Ireland, and I think that's starting to show in her performances.
As does the player who was trying to get in the end of that through ball, Simone McGill, just beaten to it. By Djukic. I mentioned the corners. This is a ninth, but it's a massive part of the women's game. And when you look at some of the goals that Northern Ireland have scored, a lot of them have come from set pieces. Can they make something else happen from this one? McGill gets there. Plenty still forward.
Yeah, we've had a lot of success with set pieces over the years, and you've just seen there the quality of delivery that Demi Vance can put in. It looks like Montenegro are putting a lot of players around the 6-yard area, and at the moment we haven't been able to get a clear connection towards goal as yet, but we're definitely a threat in those going forward.
It's the same with international teams in every discipline at every age group, because you have so limited. So the time with your players is so limited. You can't work on everything, but you can work on set pieces, both defensively and offensively, and it's a massive part of this Northern Ireland side. You look back at 2016 and Michael O'Neill, it was the same when you had the likes of Gareth McCauley, for example, and deliveries from Norwood and Brunt in the build up to that tournament. It's going to be McCarran and her right foot rather than the left of Vance this time.
Yeah, I'm surprised Montenegro haven't put another player out. We have a 2v1 in the wide area, especially whenever Chloe McCarran's on the ball, because that's the few times that we've played short so far. So surprised they haven't put another player out there. But
yeah, disappointing from Chloe McCarran's point of view, but she has looked towards that near post area. I know that didn't quite come off, but she has looked towards that near post area a couple of times, which is surprising, because Northern have had so much success at the back post. Even if you look back at the last campaign, the likes of Megan Bell scored from a back post area, and we all know how good Sarah McFadden is from that kind of position. But clearly, it's something that will have been worked on, but that set piece didn't quite work out. Harvey Clifford hasn't had too much to do so far. Just that one big warning sign early on, and the flag has stayed down for this one. Marissa Callahan. Cross is blocked. Goalkeeper doesn't collect. It hasn't looked particularly convincing any time that there's been pressure on her. And it's hooked clear by the home side. Simone McGill's perfectly within her rights there, but it's just a couple of times when there hasn't particularly been the authority you would like to see from your goalkeeper in duels like that.
No, she's looked a bit indecisive so far.
Danielle Maxwell, we've spoken about her a couple of times already. Northern Ireland kicked off their Nations League campaign with a 3-0 defeat away to the Republic of Ireland at the Viva Stadium, the first ever game played there. 38,000 at that match then. It was a 1-0 home victory over Albania. That win courtesy of a Lauren Wade goal in her 50th cap, and a big night for Sarah McFadden, who was winning her 100th. Then it was that heartbreaking 3-2 defeat against Hungary. Northern Ireland had pegged their way back twice, having been behind, and with virtually the last touch of the game, the Hungarians, in arguably the key match in the group, secured all 3 points. Then it was a draw when the two sides faced each other. After that, Danielle Maxwell on the score sheet, equalising a 4-0 win away in Albania, followed up by a difficult night at Windsor Park as the Republic of Ireland, the group winners, won 6-1 in Belfast. The Republic of Ireland, with a 100% record in the group, were dominant and have now gone up to the top tier. Oh, that little touch doesn't work out. It was a good idea. And it's picked up by Rebecca McKenna, charging forward at pace. It's one of her greatest strengths, but it's Djokovic who wins it back.
Yeah, just slightly overrun it there, Rebecca McKenna.
I mentioned the goalkeeper, Kristovic. Of the goalkeepers in the squad, there isn't one who's very experienced. Kristovic only has a handful of caps. She's a young goalkeeper who plays in Hungary, but you know, early in your international career, it takes a while to get used to it, and certainly Northern Ireland will perhaps try and put her under a little bit more pressure after what has been a nervy enough half hour. What do you mean of that half hour? If you were rating Northern Ireland out of 10 right now?
Probably a 7, I would say, at the minute. You know, there's been lots of good play, as you say, in the build-up. Just, you know, once we get into the box, maybe just not being clinical enough, and especially with their set pieces, we've had quite a few corners so far and haven't really been able to get an effort at goal as yet. So plenty of room for improvement.
You know, Ireland's first game of 2024, 9 matches in 2023. They picked up 3 wins during that time. Two victories against Albania, then also a friendly win against the Czech Republic. Montenegro, on the other hand, had 11 matches and won 8 of them. Karen does well to dispossess Djokovic, who seems to be the one player in the front three that likes to go a little bit deeper. Oh, Sheffield with the play.
Yeah, I think in transition is where we can definitely hurt Montenegro. There's a few times we've won the ball back, and I think we need to go maybe slightly quicker and looking for the switch across to the other side where the opposite wide player has a bit of time and space on the ball. There's a lot of pace in our team, and Montenegro look to be struggling to get back at times. So I think we can definitely hurt them in transition.
I think early on you spoke about mismatches, if you like, and high score lines. One thing that really stood out about Montenegro's group was that they hit 9 against the Faroes.
Yeah, that's no mean feat. We obviously played the Faroes in the build up to the Euros, and I think it was a 6-0 and a 5-0. So Montenegro have put 9 past them there in December time. So they're definitely a threat in front of goal.
The surprising thing is, so it was 9-0 at home. It was only 1-0 away, and that was a goal midway through the second half. So it just shows you when Montenegro click, they're very, very good. But if Northern Ireland can't frustrate them like they have been doing, they may well find it significantly more difficult in this two-legged affair. On their travels, haven't been quite as convincing when you look at the record.
Yeah, I think they seem to be stronger at home, and with the girls playing at Windsor on Tuesday night, the pitch will be bigger than that today, and that may help our girls with having a little bit more time and space.
Clip free kick forward, easily dealt with by Rafferty. Nice touch from McGill. Runners out Sider, but also through the middle and Andrews. Just over 10 minutes to go to half-time. It's a risky pass, and I don't think it's going to work out. We identified some of the Montenegro players that we felt would be a real threat. Kuc we've spoken about extensively, and Balatovic, but haven't really seen a huge amount of Karlicic on the ball, have we?
No, she doesn't seem to have had much of an influence in the game so far.
Does that surprise you, the level she's playing at?
Yeah, it is a bit surprising, but with Northern Ireland dominating possession, I suppose Montenegro haven't had a whole lot of controlled possession for her to get on the ball. So yeah, maybe that's why we haven't seen as much of her.
She's wearing the number 10 jersey. You can see where she is right now. She's having to backtrack. It may well be a factor that the way Northern Ireland are set up, she's having to do a lot of the donkey work and not getting possession herself. Home side starting to look like they're getting fairly deep. Can Northern Ireland take advantage? It's towards that near post, and Miguel can't quite get there, and just lets the goalkeeper know that she was in the vicinity.
Yeah, again, just the final delivery there, just straight, into the goalkeeper's hands. Maybe we can pull that back slightly.
McCann. McKenna has been a virtual ever-present for 4 years or so, having broken into the team. She's winning her 34th cap tonight, just 22 years old. Rebecca McKenna started at Linfield, then had a move to Charlton, has moved on since then. McCarran shifts it out towards this near side, and Vance. Here is Karlicic, gives it away rather easily, and it was Kuc who helped her out and then ended up winning the free kick. And well, that probably tells a tale as well, that Kuc's big strength is in the 6-yard box, and just having to come all the way out to that part of the pitch to try and get on the ball. She's been frustrated for large periods.
Yeah, and again, whenever she's won the ball back there, there's one player ahead of her, and doesn't look to be too many busting a gut to join her and support her in possession. So, yeah, it's probably not working to her strengths.
Easy defended again. Visitors have looked fairly solid at the back. Did give too much space for the initial chance for Kuc, which she'll be kicking herself about as the first yellow card of the game is brandished. I think it was to Marissa Callahan there. We'll just get confirmation that in a moment, but it did look as if it was the captain. There were two players in and around the referee, and it is a yellow for Callahan. A lunge from the Cliftonville player.
Yeah, you're definitely not getting away with those in this day and age.
Balatovic plays it short to Desic. McGill. Vance is charging further ahead. So too is Maxwell. Nice turn from her, but the left back recovered very well. Popovic. Nicely worked to Rafferty. Look how many green shirts are in there. Northern Ireland patient. Pass in towards Andrews was a difficult one to control.
Yeah, again, just forcing possession there. I think we could go through Demi Vance and don't have to force it down the middle.
7th game for Tanya Oxtoby. McKenna, that little darting run this time. Shifts it from right to left. Vance has a player outside her, but instead elected to go through the middle, and then it was McGill just trying to get something on it, unable to avoid the goal kick though.
Again, yeah, just the final ball into the 18. Just not what we're looking for.
And speaking of which, we did mention it earlier in terms of an odd bounce. The surface there doesn't look to be the best one for both sets of players.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether it's the whole pitch or just it looks like that 18-yard box at the moment, but
hopefully it won't be a factor. Midfielder turns straight into Andrews, and that led to the error. Wade. McGill on the left foot. Flag, I think, is up on the far side. Whistle sounded fairly quickly.
that's again, like I said, if we can hit them, yeah, just about off.
It's just off.
About,
it's
yeah.
just off. I mean, it's
but if we can play those balls early, I heard Simone earlier calling, early from a play that was previous. So if we can get them in early, I think Montenegro are struggling to make the recovery runs. Once they're in there and set, they're strong defensively. But if we can hit them in the transition, that's where we're causing problems, as I've said previously.
Yeah, I suppose after half an hour, Simone McGill's starting to get a feel for if she's got the legs on her direct opponents, and she must feel she has.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it.
She's certainly lurking right on the shoulder of Dukic. McKenna, Maxwell wants it back. Still McKenna, the Northern Ireland player, has gone down in the box. Julie Andrews, and again McGill not giving up on anything, and certainly looks hungry. "24 international goals for a 29-year-old. Really good friends, but I wonder if she has Rachel Furness in her sights. I'd say she does.
Oh, she definitely does, yeah.
But would she admit it though to her? That's
She
the
does,
thing.
yeah.
Oh, she does?
Yeah, they have a bit of banter about that for sure.
Chance for Montenegro with numbers over here. 4-on-3. Kush decides to go herself, and well, it was Harvey Clifford who washed it all the way. And Kuch has certainly scored plenty of goals this level, but there were options inside, particularly the runner at the back post who could have been better placed.
Yeah, we had spoken about it before, about them not having runners, and the time they do have runners, she opts to go for the shot.
It's just a sign as well for Northern Ireland, who have dominated possession over the past 25 minutes or so, that there is that threat at the other end. Another corner kick coming up.
Yeah, not long to go to half time, so it'll be an ideal time to score a goal.
Yes, the counters, the corners certainly mounting up. Can Northern Ireland strike before the break? Vance lifts it in. It is towards the back post this time, and it's Rafferty in behind McFadden. Can't hit the target. There were a couple of players back on the line. Doesn't really seem to be a sense of urgency here from the home side. Strong challenge from McFadden, who's been penalised for it. It was McFadden and Kuch, two seasoned campaigners, going for it. I think, judging by that shot, it was Kuch who felt the full effect.
Yeah, just shoulder in the back there by the look of it.
So McFadden will probably say she also won the ball in the process, and
She
Kuch just got in the
definitely
way.
did. A good header in my book.
March will be getting his half-time team talk ready. Bulatovic seems to take every single set piece, doesn't matter if it's in her own penalty area, which is odd for a player who scored so many goals. Karlcic. It's had a quiet opening 45 minutes. I'd have to be careful here. I'd be eager not to give anything away before the half-time break. Bulatovic looking for an angle. Well defended though from Jolie Andrews, and Montenegro have to make do with a throw-in. Bulatovic. Home side push back, but there's plenty still forward. Northern well set up, but they have to be careful that a little bit of skill like that doesn't unpick the lock. And Rafferty's taking no chances as a result.
Yeah, it's interesting to see Cooch. She just kind of stays, quite far away from the ball there. Even though there's a massive void in the middle of the pitch, she's still happy to stay more in the, on our last defender on the back of Rebecca McKenna and Sarah McFadden. Nobody's filling that void in the middle of the pitch.
Big gaps out there. And direct comparison, you look at that area of the pitch, it's so congested. So the question's going to be who can exploit that space as this game progresses. Callahan. Look at acres of space for McKenna to run into. We are in first half injury time. Andrews. Pushed towards the corner flag. McKenna, is there time for the throw-in to be taken? Decent run made by Andrews, and again it's McGill trying to make something from nothing in there, but looks like it's going to be the final action of the first half, and is scoreless at the break in this Nations League playoff first leg. And Julie, how would you sum that up?
Yeah, I think Northern Ireland have dominated play after the first maybe 5 or 10 minutes. They grew into the game, and there's been lots of good build-up play. Probably could play a bit more quickly, I think, in transition, like I've said previously. And just maybe the final ball needs to just have that little bit more quality on it. But they're definitely creating opportunities, and they should definitely be causing threats from the number of corners that we've had so far.
In terms of the context of this two-legged game, how encouraged are you about that opening 45 minutes?
Yeah, I think it shows that we're the stronger team, and there's nothing to fear for the next 45, obviously, of this game, and then coming back home to Belfast on Tuesday night with our crowd behind us. I think that definitely the tie should be in our favour. Well,
there are some of the key stats from the first half, but right now at half-time we're going to pause and shift focus and watch some highlights from last weekend's English Women's Super League. The attendance record at WSL game was broken at the Emirates Stadium as Arsenal hosted Manchester United. But first we'll start at Kings Meadow with the top two, Chelsea taking on Manchester City.
James takes aim, and that is usually the outcome.
Game over. Great goal from Erin Cuthbert. Shaw is the target, took it nicely, hit it well! Shaw, oh brilliant! Lauren Hemp!
Cuthbert, all close down, and Robs. It's Shaw, she's in! It's 1-0 to Manchester City! Another goal for Bunny Shaw! The chasers are in front at Kingsmeadow.
It's a great first touch from Bunny Shaw because she just takes it away from Jess Carter there. But that all comes from Jess Park committing. And it's a great finish with the outside of her boot past Hannah Hampton.
When she got herself into that position, it would have been a total shock had she missed that. Hemp, head down, held up by Fran Kirby. Great run by Park, she slots in for Shaw again. And a tremendous stop from Hannah Hampton. So close to a second for Manchester City. James finds the tightest of gaps. Beautiful feet. Ramirez. Kirby! Chelsea's best move of the night.
I said earlier on about Alexandri getting drawn into a little fight with Lauren James. Well, Harvey has to come all the way inside to join Alex Greenwood as a centre-back because Alexandri's just so focused on trying to win this individual fight with Lauren James. You can't do it.
Ramirez. Dogged to win it back. Lawrence. Oh, Coombs is Cuthbert.
Just holding my breath there because I thought that was going to go into the roof of the net. It's great confidence, Mary coverage. Takes a touch out of her feet. You know, she's only got one thing on her mind, but it just doesn't dip quick enough for her.
Leupolds. James trying to get around Wahhabi. The big hold of her shirt. James, though, is still going. Oh, that looked risky and that looked a bit suspect. Well, there was definitely a foul before James made her way into the box. Was there a foul when she got there?
I mean, it's not a penalty for me at all. I don't think Wahhabi makes any contact with her.
Park forced a little wide, picks out Lauren Hemp. Kasparai on the overlap. Kasparai! She is yet to score for Manchester City. That would have been an opportune moment to do so.
Good link-up play. Kasparai just drives inside. Really, she's only got one thing left to do, and that's to have a strike.
Hasegawa, again, Park in acres. Hemp on her right, Chloe Kelly to her left. It's Kelly! It's saved by Hampton. Space is opening up for City now.
That's a couple of times now in the last however many minutes that Park's been able to pick that ball up completely unmarked in the middle.
Great ball from Charles. Canarid goes for the byline. Cuthbert! That looked destined for the back of the net.
Hitting Canarid again. Cuts through Harby. It's a great set. Oh, must have been centimetres away from going into the back of the net. I think Keaton thought she was beaten, in all honesty.
Björn. Greenwood there again. Saved! Oh my word, how has that stayed out? Off the line. All hands to the pump for Manchester City. Somehow they've kept it out. Charles.
Absolutely incredible from Keaton there. Now, I thought Nuskin was just going to put the rebound straight into her neck, but somehow she connects with it again. Greenwood wins the first initial one. It drops kindly. Oh, it's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Expect Cankovic there to do more with it, but the rebound sets up nicely. Just gets a strong hand. What a brave save.
Abigail Byrne eventually blows her whistle. It's all over. The champions are beaten. Manchester City strike a significant blow in the race for the WSL title. They draw level on points at the top with Chelsea. And they have beaten the Blues at home for the first time since 2016. Full time at Kingsmeadow. Chelsea 0, Manchester City 1.
Miedemar has gone for it. Oh, magnificent.
Beth Mead fires Arsenal into the lead.
Oh, that's a lovely scoop forwards. Toon! Melvin Mallard with a predatory finish.
Any pressure for Laia Codina. And D'Angelo, did she get there? Nikita Paris says no. The corner is given. Paris thinks that could have been more. Early test for the Arsenal goalkeeper in ahead of Manuela Zinsberger. Wasn't done any favours with the back pass. Fouty. Brilliant run made by Catley. And Evans had to be sure. Arsenal growing into this game. Just saw that little pocket of space. Blundell racing to try and get back. It's a good delivery. Mead was waiting. Gemma Evans knew that. Mead is there as the short option, but Katie McCabe will drive it in, and it's deflected in. Arsenal with the early breakthrough. Responding so well to Manchester United's bright start. It's the Gunners who hit the front early doors. Now she is so proficient with her deliveries from that sort of area, Katie McCabe. And the unfortunate Jays sends it past Mary Earps and May Letitia. And Arsenal have the lead. Arsenal have given the ball away though. Garcia, Paris, look at the space for Jays if she can find her. Instead it's Toon, little deflection. How close was that? Nicely worked this by Manchester United. Toon with the effort. And that so easily could have trickled into the back of the net. Forward by Codina. Blackstenius straight to Evans, who plays it straight to McCabe. Mead with the touch and the frustration because the whistle went. Pulled back for the foul on Katie McCabe. Mead, I think, fancied her chances down the right. She might do now. McCabe's taken it quickly. Palova's made the run. Lovely ball by Mead. Palova, Blackstenius trapped under her feet. But Lacasse makes no mistake with the header. Celebrations around the Emirates as Chloe Lacasse scores once again against Manchester United. Quick thinking by Katie McCabe. And how about this for a ball from Beth Mead? Beautifully weighted. Blackstenius couldn't take advantage of Palova's ball. But Lacasse was clinical. Vubenmoy. Lovely driven pass. Lacasse once more with the chance to drive. Little with the header. Falls to Mead. Takes a touch. Was she brought down there? Yes, she was. Penalty, and will it be a second yellow for Gemma Evans? Kirsty Dow perhaps giving herself a bit of thinking time. Flicked on by Little. Mead in space. The foot comes in from Evans. It's clearly a penalty. And Kim Little, Captain Fantastic, steps up. It's simple. It's so often the outcome. And Arsenal take a real grip of this game. And perhaps Blundell. Oh, poor pass. Earps could be in trouble here. Blackstenius. Earps does brilliantly. Super save from England and Manchester United's number one, but Manchester United playing themselves into trouble once more. McCabe into Letitia. Little, Mead, off the post, and Katie Zellin will clear away. Arsenal so close to what would be a deserved fourth.
Emirates Stadium, today's crowd sets another marking. 60,160 tickets sold.
Well, the first time that Arsenal have sold out the Emirates for a WSL game. 60,160 seats sold. Here goes Mallard for Manchester United, little ricochet. Williams, good save. D'Angelo, Garcia's there. Can she finish? No, she can't. Good, strong left foot. We see a Garcia getting there. Catley just got enough on the ball, and so did Cadena. Turner. Galton and Lacasse colliding. Ball is run to Melvin Mallard, and Cadena won't keep it in. It will be a Manchester United corner as Lacasse gingerly gets up. It's all the way in. Manchester United do get a goal back. Scant consolation it may be, but they are on the score sheet. Arsenal switching off, not really ready for the corner. And Lucia Garcia there to stab home from close range. Poor defending from Arsenal, quick thinking from Manchester United. Huge win for Arsenal. Huge win for Jonas Eidevall, that keeps his side very much in the hunt for the WSL title. It finishes at the Emirates. Arsenal 3, Manchester United 1.
It is shaping up to be some title race in England. You can, of course, stay up to date with the action in the WSL on the Women's Football Show. That is available on the BBC iPlayer right now. And on the iPlayer tonight from 7:30, we'll have some live Irish Premiership action. League leaders Larne take on in-form Glentoran. Welcome back, though, to this Nations League first leg playoff game. Scoreless at the break between Northern Ireland and Montenegro. These two sides battling it out for a spot in the second tier of this inaugural league setup. And alongside me on co-commentary for the first half and for the remainder of the game, Northern Ireland record cap holder Julie Nelson. And Julie, we were kind of speaking off Mike there just about where Northern Ireland are in terms of the rankings and where they are in terms of this game. You saw plenty of positives in that opening 45 minutes.
Yeah, I think Northern Ireland grew into the game after the first 5 or 10 minutes. Lots of good build-up play and combinations through midfield. Just need a little bit more quality in the final ball, and especially in transition, I think we can move the ball slightly more quickly than what we have done.
No changes at the break for either side. And that transition in particular, such a key part of the modern game, is very evident. When Northern Ireland could move it through the lines, they were starting to reap the rewards further up the pitch. Lauren Wade had a really good chance. May well have actually taken a deflection. We haven't watched it back, but the corner was awarded in the aftermath. We thought that she had missed a target, but given that decision, the defender must have got a touch. Bulatovic playing in a slightly more advanced role. Arguably the best opportunity of that first half actually fell to the home side. Cooch with an effort in the opening 90 seconds, unmarked at the back post, unable to get her header on target. She's Montenegro's record goal scorer, so an interesting 45 minutes ahead for Demi Vanson Co. dialogue going on with the Northern Ireland manager. Interesting to see as she picked this side with Tuesday in mind as well, with the likes of Hamilton and Caldwell on the bench, or as she decided to go with her strongest side and really kind of take this two-legged encounter by the scruff of the neck and take control of this game, with Tuesday night coming up. Of course, a game you can watch live in the BBC iPlayer. Maxwell. You sense that she fancied this duel one-on-one against Popovic, the left back. Cross comes in low, and it's opening corner kick of the second half for the visitors. No doubt that's something which will have been spoken about in the dressing room, trying to use that width, and in particular Maxwell on the right and Wade on the left.
Yeah, they're two strengths for the Northern Ireland team, and a good outlet to play through, so I think that will have been spoken about.
Vance places the ball. And credit to it, it actually looks like that may well be touching the line, unlike the majority of corners which takes place now. Towards the near post, well defended. Lauren Wade can't get there. McCarran steps up and wins it back, and each one of the clearances that time from Baladovic isn't able to make a huge amount of headway.
Yeah, again, Northern Ireland looking for that front post corner, so it's clearly something that they've identified and worked on.
Big change, and this is clearly an injury. Sarah McFadden comes off for Ellie Mason. We didn't see Sarah McFadden hobbling, or didn't see any issues on camera, but clearly in a situation like that, it's a case of Tanya Oxtoby saying, right, you've got 5 minutes to see if you're okay, and probably with Tuesday in mind too. That's a huge blow to have someone of Sarah McFadden's quality on the bench for the remaining 40 minutes of this game.
Yeah, and it must be something quite major for Sarah to come off. You know, it must be something, a proper issue for her. As you say, she would run through a brick wall, to be on the pitch and to be playing for Northern Ireland. So there must be some issue there, and Tanya's obviously given her 5 minutes in the second half to see how she is. Well
worked away at McGill's in the middle. There's Maxwell. Can't get on to the right foot. Still Maxwell. Forced it goalwards, but it ricocheted off a defender. Opened up for Northern Ireland, and they've won themselves a free kick now, and it's going to be a yellow for Djokovic for the challenge on McKenna. I think that's more for persistent fouling than that particular tackle.
Yeah, I think so. But again, the opposite side, the wide player Danielle Maxwell's in acres of space there, and a better touch, and she gets a free strike on goal.
A little tug of the shorts. There's a look at the run from Lauren Wade initially. Ellie Mason only has a handful of caps, so will come in alongside Laura Rafferty, with Vance also back there. The player who is going to take this free kick. Cap number 5 for Ellie Mason, a 27-year-old.
Not really sure about the position of that wall there, but it's good for Northern Ireland. Then we can whip it round into the near post.
It certainly looks like it gives her quite the space to run into, and it's exactly what she tried to do. It's a little bit of a let-off because there did appear to be a massive gap there. You know Sarah McFadden very well. You know that, as you mentioned, she'd run through a wall. It'd be a worry if she wasn't available for Tuesday, and she's got to be a doubt with that quick turnaround.
Yeah, she brings massive experience to the team, and she's become the linchpin of the defence over the last couple of years now, and yeah, she would be a massive loss if she wasn't there.
Some huge performances at the Euros from Sarah McFadden, and she's kicked on since then. Mentioned that she scored that late equaliser for her club side Durham against the London City Lionesses at the weekend. over 100 caps, part of that exclusive club alongside Julie and Ashley Hutton. There's a little bit of a race to see who gets there next, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. Rachel Furness was the next one in line, but unfortunately she's injured at the moment, and Demi Vance is fast on her heels. So I suppose it may depend how quickly Rachel is able to get herself back on the pitch, who the next one will end up being.
Yes, Demi Vance winning her 91st this afternoon. You've got the likes of Nadine Caldwell and Marissa Callahan in and around the 80s and mid-80s mark. Here is Mason. Actually played in 2 international games for Gibraltar previously, a number of years ago, but was able to switch allegiance to Northern Ireland. Here's Wade on that left foot. Good stop from the goalkeeper. It's a really strong hand from Kristovic. Got down very quickly because it was well struck from Lauren Wade. Pressure still on from Maxwell. McKenna leaves it for Vance. She's going to want to have a go. Didn't take a touch in his way through, but we have questioned the goalkeeper until this point in terms of shot stopping. That was a really good one.
Yeah, really good start from the goalkeeper. Lauren Wade, sorry, is one of the best strikers of the ball that we would have in the 18-yard area, and she's got a good connection on it there, and goalkeeper's done well to get across and also get a strong hand on it.
4 or 5 players around Wade, and only one thing in her mind, but Kristovic pushed it away to safety, and Northern Ireland are starting to cause all kinds of problems for Montenegro. Can they find that elusive goal, that breakthrough goal?
Yeah, Montenegro seemed to be getting deeper and deeper over the course of the first 10 minutes of the second half, and it seems like it's only a matter of time before Northern Ireland are able to make one of their opportunities count. How
important is it when you're in that situation, though, to be patient and make sure you don't push it too much? You take your time and you wait for the right moment in attacks and show that experience that we've spoken about a little bit earlier in terms of big games.
Yeah, that's important to stay on the ball and to try and drag them up the pitch a little bit to create ourselves a bit more space. As I said, they are dropping deeper and deeper, so if we can get them higher up the pitch, we've got more space to exploit.
Andrews tries to pull it back. There were 2 Northern Ireland players in there in the shape of McGill and Callahan. Here is McGill. Out muscled in the area. Simone McGill's been starved of chances. She's worked very hard. She's been putting pressure on the defenders, but hasn't really had a sight of goal herself.
No, she seems to have a lot of bodies around her every time the ball goes into her, Simone. There seems to be at least two players, maybe 3 around her, so it's been difficult for her to get an opportunity.
Yellow card for Karicic. I assume that was for something that was said rather than a challenge, because there didn't appear to be anything significant from the past attack.
Yeah, it sounded like there was quite a few raised voices, so I'm assuming that's what happened.
Montenegro taking their time over this goal kick. We mentioned how strong Montenegro have been at home. They've won 5 of their last 6, scored 22 goals and conceded just 3. And Cooch is trying to get in between Rafferty and the goalkeeper right now. Harvey Clifford had to come a long way off her line, and just for a second it looked like there was that gap for Cooch.
Yeah, Cooch looks to have a bit of pace about her, but Rafferty's done well to get her body in the way to give Maddie time to come out and clear the ball.
And without Sarah McFadden and all the experience she's bringing, those are the kind of situations with a relatively inexperienced centre half in Mason and a relatively inexperienced goalkeeper in Harvey Clifford, where things can go wrong.
Yeah, you just need strong communication in that time. So hopefully that's what's happened from Maddie there. It's obviously hard for us to hear, but.
Popovic hasn't had too many opportunities to make any kind of impact further up the pitch, but it could well provide gaps at the other end of the foul from Djokovic, who is already on a yellow and has to be careful. Breaks up the attack anyway. Can't really afford too many more challenges like that in the yellow. I haven't said that there haven't been too many bad tackles in this game so far. It's a bit lax once more. Well closed down though by Demi Vance's Desic, trying to get turned in the semicircle. We are approaching the hour mark. McKenna still going. Another corner kick.
Yeah, again, Rebecca McKenna causing problems down this side.
And you can see the reaction of the Montenegro manager, Maric, there. Really disappointed that pass was able to go through, and I think that is why the yellow has been shown to Koricic. Vance's ball in. Flicked away. Another chance for Jolie Andrews. Maxwell got her head on it, but couldn't really generate any power. Danielle Maxwell.
Yeah, it's another good delivery by Demi Vance initially, but I think the timing of her run, we were just a little bit late to get in. And obviously we've lost the height now of Sarah McFadden too, to go and attack those set plays.
We've spoken a lot about set pieces and the importance of them in an attacking sense. One thing that's very evident from both sides is, given how many corners and free kicks there have been in good positions, that they're very well organised in regard to defending them, because some of the deliveries have been very dangerous, but defences have certainly been on top so far.
Yeah, lots of players in and around the goalkeeper and in and around the 6-yard box, and willing to go and attack the ball and put their body on the line in both teams.
Giving away to Wade. The Reading player, good strength, has Marissa Callahan. 3 Northern Ireland players in the middle: Maxwell, McGill and Andrews, and it is yet another corner kick as it's been taken short this time. Northern Ireland trying to mix things up. Popovic got her head to it. So many camped in and around the Montenegro penalty area. That's a risk to pass back from there, but it's nicely worked out to Cooch and Rafferty in quite the battle with the striker right now. A little bit disjointed, but it's with the home side. Tackles flying in. Referee's letting Lock go too. There's another poor pass.
It's all got a bit scrappy there in the middle of the pitch from both teams at the minute.
There's going to be a video analyst who's going to have a field day over that last couple of minutes. Referee then gets in the way. I think maybe they'll touch that, but play continues. Vance. Super effort. Washed all the way by the goalkeeper. Vance was a long way out, and it's not unlike the goal she scored against Austria from that type of range in the 2-2 draw.
Yeah, great strike by Demi Vance there, and again another good save from the goalkeeper.
placed it well, but in fairness to Kristovic, looked very calm and controlled as she made her way across to palm it away. That's the second example of her shot-stopping skills. Little flick at the near post. Perhaps maybe that is what Northern Ireland have been working on. It was an area that they've tried to exploit a couple of times. We've said it on countless occasions, but you do feel that Northern Ireland are knocking on the door.
Yeah, it's good to see them trying to take some of the set plays more quickly now. They've just taken that throw in really quickly, the previous corner that they had down the left side. And I think that's where they'll hurt Montenegro, because what they're looking for is them to take time and for them to get bodies behind the ball to set into their banks that they've been sitting in and defend.
Popovic has certainly been pushing further up the pitch since the half-time break. Here's another look back at that last Northern Ireland attack and the hit from Vance. So much quality in that left foot, Demi Vance. Back at Glentoran after a spell in Scotland. And Montenegro seem to be retreating deeper and deeper, but always look a threat. And you can just see in the edge of your shot there, Kuch right in the shoulder of the defender. He is predator, just looking for that one chance. They will leave her up top. And in many ways, what Northern Ireland were doing in the first half in terms of the transition and the counter-attack, Montenegro are trying to utilise in the second.
Yeah, I think she definitely looks like a threat. Thankfully, we've been able to get bodies in the way and to stop those through balls. But if the ball was to get through to her, I think she would pose a problem for the centre backs and Mali.
Here's Vance, who had that chance a moment ago. A little bit of wrestling. Free kick goes to Northern Ireland. It is taken quickly again. Visitors eager to get play back underway. If you're just joining us this Friday lunchtime, it is 0-0 in this Women's Nations League playoff two-legged encounter between Northern Ireland and Montenegro. The second game is live in the BBC iPlayer on Tuesday from Windsor Park for the right to remain in the second tier of this new look competition. It does have benefits moving forward in regard to qualifying draws for the World Cup and the Euros, and there are some of the changes being made too on both sides. Montenegro first, Desic and Djokovic come on. Tomašević, one of the players introduced in a like-for-like situation, and Vladinovic. Two changes as well for Northern Ireland. On comes Megan Bell for Marissa Callaghan, and the other player introduced is Cara Hamilton. And I suppose that's all about legs, isn't it? It's all about that energy, and in a situation like you've identified, the pace of the likes of Cara Hamilton in particular could be the key to finding a way past this Montenegrin defence. Yeah,
and I think it's important to remember that the girls that are playing here domestically aren't in season and haven't been in season, since the previous games that Northern Ireland have played, and I think that may start to take its toll as the minutes click on here. So we've got Megan, obviously, who's now out on loan at Hearts, and good to see her getting some minutes in the Scottish Premier League, and Cara's playing week in, week out for Lewis, so that should bring some more dynamism and some more energy to the team.
And in particular, Megan Bell scored at the weekend. Has had a frustrating time over the last while. Obviously, has had injury problems as well over the past couple of seasons at Rangers. Has been given the opportunity at Hearts and scored for the Edinburgh club. It's her first at the weekend, so she is going to be high on confidence. And Cara Hamilton, sometimes I suppose the difficulty for Cara Hamilton is that the role that she's playing for Lewis is very much as a wing back, and Rebecca McKenna's been so good for Northern Ireland in that position. Where do you fit her into this lineup? We'll have that discussion in a moment as the free kick comes in from Demi Vance, looping towards the back post. It skimmed off the head, I think, of the defender. That's Cooch. I'm not sure if she got the touch, but Megan Bell was just in behind, I think. Certainly from our angle. Ellie Mason as well, threatening, and it was Cooch who did get the touch. Vance lifts it in once more. Skids off the head again, and are we going to have another corner kicker to go for a throw-in? Throw-in. Decent period of pressure. Mason doesn't have a huge amount of space to run into, so does very well as a result to set up another corner kick. I'm not too sure if it's the pictures or the fact that it appears like it's raining fairly heavily there. Nice and cozy in our studio here in Belfast.
Yeah, they've got good Northern Irish Day over there in Montenegro.
17th corner of the game. Lifted in by Vance.
Again, you see, even when the corner does go short, Montenegro don't step out. They keep bodies in and around the goalkeeper, the protector, and around the box, and they're there to deal with the ball when it eventually comes in. And so far, they've dealt with those very well.
And I wonder, just with that little bit of moisture in the pitch getting a little bit wetter, what will some of the Northern Ireland players be tempted perhaps to have a pop from outside the box and just test the surface of the goalkeeper? Because we saw a shot of it earlier on, and it was not the best of terrains to be playing an international game on. But here is McCarron, who leads it for Vance, who had that effort herself a moment earlier. Header on goal. Is it the opener? It is. It's a breakthrough for Northern Ireland. It has been coming with 21 minutes to go. Lauren Wade has got on the end of Demi Vance's cross. No reaction from Tanya Oxtoby, but that could prove to be a massive goal in the context of this game. They've had to be patient. They've dominated possession, but that goal will be the reward. Kristovic unable to get anything on it. Vance's cross asking the question, and Lauren Wade popping up with her 10th international goal in the double figures for the Reading player.
Yeah, it wouldn't have be one of Lauren's strengths, her heading ability, but she did really well there to direct that. Good ball in from Demi, and did really well to find a bit of space in the box and to direct her header into the far corner. And yeah, definitely a goal that Northern Ireland deserve.
They deserve, but I don't think it's going to win too many awards in terms of the quality of it. But sometimes
they all count.
Sometimes that's what you need to make the breakthrough, because certainly on the ball, Northern Ireland have looked very confident. They've been seizing control of this game for the majority of it so far, and the player in the ball right now, Lauren Wade, has found that goal that has frustrated Northern Ireland so far in terms of breaking down this stubborn Montenegro backline. And that's also a landmark goal for Northern Ireland at international level. Oh, sorry, the next one is a landmark goal. I'll keep that. I'll keep
Getting
that
ahead
stat.
of yourself.
Yes, I'll keep that stat up my sleeve. What away from a significant number? Have to be careful they don't concede in quick succession. It's a dangerous ball in towards that back post area. Recycled, and now it's back with Popovic. Given how strong they've been at home, Montenegro will feel that they need to take something from this game if they're to threaten in Belfast. It was a handball. The oncoming player, Karicic, lost her footing. Mentioned that the rain may well have an impact, and struck her arm. Whistle sounded, and a promising attack comes to nothing.
Yeah, Northern Ireland being 1-0 up now, they need to be switched on, because it looks like Montenegro are now going to try and push up the pitch a bit more and try to create a bit more. So there will be opportunities for Northern Ireland in the transition, but they also need to be switched on defensively.
Would you take 1-0 back to Belfast?
Yeah, I think that would be a great result to bring back to Belfast. You know, and with the chance to analyse this game, I'm sure the coaching staff would have Northern Ireland well prepared off the back of that for another good performance against Montenegro on Tuesday.
Because it's hard to maybe prepare for a match like this. You don't have a huge amount of footage to maybe watch, but certainly when you look at the stats and you look at the group so far, and the quality that Montenegro have had on paper at home, this was shaping up to be a very difficult game. I mean, I mentioned countless times that home record, and certainly the amount of goals conceded, which is always a good gauge of how strong an international team is. Just to reiterate, in the last 6 home games, they've won 5 of them, scored 22 and conceded 3. So, you know, maybe it has been a little bit of a frustrating time for Northern Ireland, but Montenegro don't give too many goals away at home.
Yeah, we spoke about that at the start. They're obviously a strong defensive team, and I heard one of the interviews that Tanya had done during the week that said that the footage was hard to come by as well. So as you've said, now that you know they've played this game, they'll obviously have a better understanding of Montenegro's strengths and weaknesses and be looking to exploit that on Tuesday.
Is there anything you'd be worried about in terms of Montenegro and how they might adapt on Tuesday and for the remainder of this game? You know, are they the kind of side that at 1-0 down are arguably more dangerous because of the strengths that they have, or what have you seen so far?
Potentially, yeah. You can see that those key players that we spoke about at the start of the game, they could be a threat, but for a lot of the game they've been doing the defensive work, like we spoke about. They're back on the halfway line having to defend, and even when they've won the ball back and counter attack, the through ball maybe hasn't just been quite what's needed for them. So they are still going to be a threat on the counter, and it's something that you need to be switched on for. But I think they will, you know, they're going to have to come higher up the pitch with them being 1-0 down now in this game, and you know, again, that'll be the case on Tuesday. And like I've spoken about, there'll be more spaces for Northern Ireland to exploit then in an attacking sense as well.
A second goal would be massive. It's not going to come from this attack. Around 14 minutes to go. Another look back at that Lauren Wade header. Just angled it past the goalkeeper. And up the double figures for the Korean girl. You can hear the rain bouncing off the microphone. It's getting heavier and heavier, it seems, out there.
Yeah, I think you can see that reflected in the speed that the ball's moving across the ground now as well. Just like that through ball there, everything's skipping off the surface and moving that a little bit more quickly.
It doesn't appear to be a massive amount of urgency in regard to the Montenegro team. It hasn't really impacted their game plan since going behind. Still a long way to go in this fixture, of course, over the 2 legs.
Yeah, maybe they're happy to come to Belfast with the 1-0 as it is, and set up a game plan to be more attacking on Tuesday.
Bell. Two substitutes looking to link up, and Bell and Hamilton. Pass had just a little bit too much on it from Megan Bell. Here's McCarran. Bell. I think it was a shot from Megan Bell, which was a long way out, but you just tell by her reaction straight away, she instantly knew it was the wrong call. Maric having a glance at his bench as Popovic slowly makes her way back onto her feet, and Nadine Caldwell is going to be introduced now. A reassuring, experienced force in midfield. Nadine Caldwell, the Glentoran midfielder, coming on for the last 12 minutes or so. Another free kick in a very similar position to the one a little earlier. You can see Kuch trying to argue with the official. I think Popovic may well be heading towards the bench herself. Kuch voicing her displeasure. It's all about the delivery. Just over 10 minutes to go. Looks like it's going to be a double change coming up. Demi Vance just has a little glance behind it to see if the change is going to be made now or a little bit later. Is the goal scorer being withdrawn? It looks like it's going to be. Lauren Wade. And on comes Rachel Dugdale and Nadine Caldwell. Dugdale back in the international squad after a couple of years. She's got married in the time in between. And Nadine Caldwell wins cap number 80.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether there's a tactical change now based off that, in terms of shape, or where Rachel's Dugdale, nearly called her Newbury there, where Rachel Dugdale's going to feature in the team.
Yes, Newbury was her maiden name as it's lifted across by Bell. Newbury, or Dugdale, played predominantly as a right back previously, but certainly just from the way she's made her way onto the pitch, it would appear that it's in more of a midfield role.
Yeah, perhaps she's going to push higher up the pitch. I'm not sure what her role looks like at Reading. Maybe she plays more of a full back or a wing back at Reading. I'm not entirely sure, but she would previously have been a full back.
Lifted in by Vance. Again, it's Rafferty who gets her head on it, but can't keep it down. So another option for Tanya Ox to be with Newbury coming back in. Mentioned earlier, Lauren Perry also make her way back into the squad. And there's Nadine Caldwell trying to make an impact straight away. Glentoran player who's won the armband for a number of matches recently when Marissa Callahan hasn't started a game.
Yeah, it looks like, I think it was Rebecca McKenna actually has the armband now that Marissa's gone off, so I'm not sure whether Tanya's just wanting to give different people an opportunity to wear the armband, to maybe that gives them some more leadership, to bring out within the squad. I'm not sure, but I think it's her that has it at the moment.
There's Cara Hamilton involved in that last challenge. Maric cuts a frustrated figure on the edge of his technical area, as does Karlicic. You do get the feeling that Montenegro have been frustrated with their own performance, just judging by some of the player reaction, particularly given the run of form that they've been on. Apart from that Kuch effort in the opening seconds, they've created so few opportunities in the final third, and have been starved of possession also.
Yeah, it looks like Rachel Dugdale's gone into left back, and Demi Vance has actually pushed higher up the pitch, from what I can see. She's a role that Demi is now playing at Glentoran. She started off the season at centre back with Glentoran and a few games at left back, but last year she would have finished the second half of the season playing as a wide left player for them, so it's a role that she's familiar with.
Cara Hamilton, another corner kick, and if I'm right in saying before she went across to England and Scotland with Leicester and Rangers, she previously played there. I remember she scored a hat-trick in a cup final when you were in co-commentary, I think.
She would have had a spell at centre mid as well, so she's played across the pitch, between the middle of the pitch and the left side, in most positions, but a very versatile player who's obviously equipped to play in any of those.
Right on cue, Vance will take the corner kick. Again, it's towards the near post. Again, it's easily defended, it has to be said, by the Montenegro skipper.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they've identified with that near post corner for the analysis that they've done, but it's been defended well on every occasion so far.
Here's Dugdale to McCarran. Very tidy turn from her. McKenna to Hamilton. McKenna wants it back. Caldwell. Sees the yellow for the challenge. It was a little bit of a wrestling match between herself and Cooch. The pass, it was probably the issue because it left Nadine Caldwell a little bit short, and in the end she felt that was the right option with Cooch getting on the ball.
Yeah, again, Cooch showing her strength there on the turn and her ability to drive with the ball, and it's probably a smart foul by Dino there to stop them in the transition.
Ball comes in, goalkeeper collects, and Maddie Harvey-Clifford has had very little to do so far, something she will be hoping continues in the home leg. Chipped 6 goals, of course, against the Republic of Ireland, but also showed plenty of positives in that game at Windsor Park, despite the scoreline, having been given the nod against Albania the game before. Her first international experience. She's now winning cap number 3 this afternoon. McCarran. To Hamilton. Back to McKenna. 4 Northern Ireland players in and around the penalty area. Mason, who came on to replace McFadden. Little link-up pass with Vance doesn't quite work, and well, you can see Cooch and Rafferty matching each other stride for stride.
A game well dealt with there through Rafferty and Harvey-Clifford. The good communication between the two of them, and dealt with that situation easily.
Hamilton back to McKenna. Northern Ireland very much in control of this game, and you would say with a match coming up against Montenegro at home, very much in control of this tie. It's a lax pass. Mason does well not to lose out, and is picked up by Dugdale. Crucially important for Northern Ireland to stay in that second tier of the Nations League in regard to giving them a chance for the upcoming European Championships, draw-wise. As Caldwell wins a free kick. And you know all about it when you look back to qualifying for the Euros. Having the chance to play in that situation, it was Norway and Wales were the two teams ranked above Northern Ireland
in terms of seeding, to have a second seed that you can really have a chance against, and really feel there's a glimpse of an opportunity there. It can prove to be crucial. It's going to be very difficult against a Tier 1 country, one of the biggest names in Europe, but Northern Ireland will be dreaming of more major championships in the future and more goals like the one you scored in Southampton. Oh, it's a slip from Doug Dale.
Yeah, I think the way the draws are done now, you know, if you were to drop into the C League, then if you were to top that group, the first playoff you would have to play would be against an A League nation, whereas if you're in the B League and you finish in the top 3 of that group, then you'll play a fellow B League team in the first round of the playoffs. So as you say, it would be a more winnable game if you're playing against a fellow B League opposition team, as opposed to playing some of those bigger nations that we've just seen today. Sweden beating Bosnia 5-0 in the first leg of their A and B League promotion relegation playoff. So it just shows that there is still a bit of a gulf there between those top teams and the B Leagues that are trying to progress into the A League.
Julie, there was a 4.5 or 5 minute video that UEFA produced to explain the Nations League, and I had all these different questions, and I spoke to the IFA, I spoke to Tanya Oxtoby about the different implications and what could happen and what couldn't happen. I think you've summed it up better in about 20 seconds, and UEFA managed to in 4.5 minutes. So
yeah,
thank you for that.
It takes a wee bit of studying to get your head around it, but
you said it with authority anyway.
Yeah.
So even if it's not true,
no,
I have perfect confidence
in you.
you.
It's pretty accurate. Yeah.
Yeah, so it does have big benefits, and Northern Ireland are 1 minute away from going into the second leg in Belfast with an advantage. They would dearly love to increase that. It's been all one-way traffic in this second half, and in fact for the majority of the game. Northern Ireland haven't produced a huge amount of clear-cut goal-scoring opportunities. Lauren Wade was denied a stinging effort, palmed away by the Montenegro goalkeeper. Demi Vance also went close with an effort from outside the box, but it was Lauren Wade's header that proved to be the breakthrough. Midway through this second half, only goal of the game, and we've got just 3 minutes of additional time to be played at the end of it. Hamilton, one of the substitutes. Bell, McKenna. Could there be a second here? There it is. 2 for Northern Ireland. They double their advantages. Demi Vance produced a cross for the opener, and in injury time, that could prove to be a huge goal for Northern Ireland's hopes in this 2-legged playoff. Good composure to pick out Vance in the middle. McKenna again on this right-hand side has always been a threat. Nobody tracked the run of Vance in that more advanced role, and it was a comfortable header to make it 2.
Yeah, again, like we spoke about, we're the switch of play there. We've gone from right to left back. Good play from Megan Bell, not to try and force things and to come back out to Rebecca McKenna, and great ball in, and you know, great finish from Demi Vance, and 2-0. You'd be happy with that going back to Belfast.
Her first Nations League goal, and well, it'll certainly make the post-match team talk a little bit sweeter. Just having that little bit of an advantage between themselves and Montenegro. At 1 goal, the tie very much in the balance, but at 2, the ball in Northern Ireland's court as they welcome Montenegro to Belfast on Tuesday evening. And in the complexion of the game, and when you look at the stats, it's no more than Northern Ireland deserve.
No, especially with the number of corners as well that we've had. You know, we've scored 2 headers there, not off corners, but you know, from good deliveries into the box and getting good numbers into the box as well, and 2 good finishes both into the same corner.
Have you seen anything from Montenegro that will worry you on Tuesday night?
Not overly, no. Like I spoke about earlier, you know, there may be a bit of a threat with Kuch on the counter attack, but For me, Montenegro are sitting too deep, basically, for that to become a problem. There she is, back in her own half, 30 yards from her own goal. So she's not going to be much of a threat to us back in those pockets of space.
So on the flip side, what are the main positives that Northern Ireland will take from this game outside of the result?
I think that the dominance that they've had in the game, I'm sure if you look at the possession stats, I would imagine it's probably, I would guess around 70% possession, just from what I'm seeing with my own eyes here. And, it's just that, the choosing of when to play slowly and when to move the ball quickly and the rhythm of the game. And I think that's something that they can definitely improve on going into Tuesday. It has improved as the game's developed here, but there's nothing to fear from their point of view.
And how big an impact do you feel the substitutes have made, as well as the full-time whistle sounds?
Yeah, I think we saw the energy that Cara and Megan both involved there in the second goal, and the energy and the legs that they had, and to bring that freshness into the team. And it shows that it's not just the 11 players that start, that it's the other 4 or 5 that may come on from the bench are also as important.
Big goal from Demi Vance in injury time helped Northern Ireland do a 2-0 victory. They are halfway there towards securing a spot in the second tier of the Nations League. Cooch had a big chance early on, but apart from that, Northern Ireland really dominated proceedings. Both of the goals coming in the second half. The first, Vance's cross headed in by Lauren Wade with 20 minutes to go. And then that second, in injury time, the final score in this first leg of the Nations League playoff. It's finished Montenegro 0, Northern Ireland 2.